So, DP, have you ever used a nasal stick?
I actually have, mate, and on that very weekend, I won a winter monthly medal at my golf club. So, sorry, Liv. Maybe I shouldn't have won that. Who knows? Welcome to the No Ifs, Putts, or Bogeys podcast. We are a no-nonsense, straight-talking golf podcast discussing all the hot topics in the world of golf. This podcast is also brought to you in association with Barretto Golf, a stylish, affordable golf clothing brand. Please visit barrettogolf.com, that's BARRETO golf.com, for all the latest offers. This podcast is also brought to you on behalf of the Golfer Gang Network. Please do go and check out some of the latest golfing podcasts. And without further ado, he's back again. O-Dub's back. Tell a friend. Here he is, O-Dub.
What's up, fellas? Good evening.
Yeah. Looking.
Hi, mate.
Did you like my intro? Was a what's the word? In honor of your outfit this evening.
Well, guys, yeah, I look absolutely ridiculous. It's 29. Well, it has reached 29 degrees outside. As I may have mentioned, I've got a young daughter, and she's a little bit tricky to settle this evening. So I'm trying to block out external sound. Says instead of helping my long-suffering partner put our baby to bed, I'm here with you two idiots. So priorities, dad of the year.
The commitment is appreciated. I need a mental health boost anyway from doing this pod because it is absolutely roasting, and I'm melting.
It could be too up.
When I got in my car at the end of the day today, the temperature said 36 degrees in the car. So
fry an egg on the bonnet, couldn't you?
You probably could have, mate. And what was worse, I was in my lovely air-conditioned office. So I was in a long-sleeve shirt and trousers.
Pop in,
I got there really early this morning.
No, early bird gets the worm.
Yeah, working very hard at the moment. And it wasn't very hot. But when I walked out, it was like I walked into a wall of fire, mate. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, on your, just thinking about your nasal spray, I actually got prescribed some steroid nasal spray because I was getting too much water in my ears. Because ladies, I'm a great listener. Yeah, I went to the docs. He was... I don't know if I did mention at the time, but my doctor actually looks quite a lot like your dad. So I felt in safe hands. Yeah, I was getting too much water in the bottom of my ear canal, and he's got these steroid nasal spray that I was supposed to like suck up to like dry out my inner ear.
Were you putting nasal spray in your ear then, O-Dub?
I'll put it in all sorts, mate. Yeah, nasal spray in my nose for my ear. So I don't know if I'd be allowed to go on live either, other than my mixed bag of clubs that I've got and my lack of talent. But yeah, just felt I wanted to mention that, guys.
Should we start there then? What the fuck's going on here? Like, give us the breakdown, AB.
Well, I mean, there's really not much to sort of break down. Basically, Graham McDowell, obviously a Ryder Cup legend, European legend, but one of the pioneers of live. So obviously one of the first joiners that went over there, and has been a full-time live member for the last 2.5 years that it's existed. But today he has been handed a fine of $125,000 dollars, sorry, and he's been banned for this forthcoming live event at the Greenbrier starting this week. And also the results for the last live golf in Nashville has been disqualified. So his own scorecard and the team, because he's tested positive for a banned substance that basically came from an over-the-counter nasal spray. So that's the story. It's utterly bizarre, but there's basically a substance within the nasal sprays in the USA that is basically a banned substance. And he could have, if he'd have gone through the right channels, he could have applied for, it's called a TUE, which is a basically, it means therapeutic something, but it's basically, he could have applied for that and been allowed to use that with permission, and then he wouldn't have tested positive, but he didn't get permission basically because, as we all know, especially if you're British like Graham is, you can go to the pharmacy. You don't even have to get it over the counter. Sometimes you can just go and find it in the aisle and buy the nasal spray and then put it up your nose.
Don't even have to go to a pharmacy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the situation. Shout out to Vicks. If you want to sponsor, no, but that's
other nasal sprays are available, and if
Yeah,
any
that
of
was-
you lot want to sponsor, do let us know.
That was the brand. I use Olbasoil when I need a nasal spray. So shout out to Olbasoil as well. But yeah, that's the summary, boys. I know I'm gearing myself up for this pod. I'm like I said, I'm really like bothered right now. But that is the story. So yeah, what's your thoughts?
Do golfers get drug tested on a regular basis?
That was my first fucking thought, O-Dub. I've never heard of anyone anywhere in the world of golf fail a drugs test for anything. And as soon as that come out, I thought, I don't even know if they get drugs tested, but they must do because it's a professional sport.
Well, I don't know what they'd be taking. Whether it's, you could probably take stuff for recovery, maybe.
They could probably take something that would make them stronger and therefore hit the ball further.
No, so it is like any other sport. So there is drug testing. It's just they're professional golfers, so it's very uncommon. But Dustin Johnson has previously served a ban for testing positive for cocaine. That's just an example off the top of my head.
Go on, lad.
So yeah, there's been a few others. I don't know any others off the top of my head, but there is the odd case now and again. But it is like you say, it's professional golf. There's not, shall we say, many performance enhancing drugs that you can take. Is usually recreational, or in this case, something like what McDowell has done. But yeah, I won't go into the ins and outs of the specific substance that was in the nasal spray, mainly because I can't pronounce it. But in the UK, that substance doesn't exist in the nasal spray, so there is a difference between where you are in the world, I guess, on these products. But yeah, it seems a bit out of the blue, and he's obviously got to take his punishment and serve his bans and whatever and pay his fines. It's only a 1-match fine, so he'll just miss out this week and then come back for the next event. But yeah, seems a bit heavy-handed, really. But I guess if they've got the rule there, then they should stick to it.
Couple of bits. The over-the-counter stuff you get in the States is like a higher threshold to that in the UK in general, isn't it? Even with like painkillers and things like, you can get a lot more.
I bet it was expensive as well. I paid like $15 for a box of paracetamol once, like 27p.
But you also kind of think, with all the money in golf, as we mentioned quite a lot, could they not produce something that would, because everyone knows what Vicks is, we've all used Vicks, like could they not produce something saying, well, yeah, these off-the-shelf popular products are likely to have this banned substance in, like educate.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think they probably do have something like that.
He'll be made a scapegoat. It's a bit like when Rio Ferdinand missed a drugs test and got a 9-month ban. He was made a scapegoat, isn't he, to stop people doing it?
Yeah,
it seems a bit like this, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it was like I said before. So TUE, I've got the full description now. So it's a therapeutic use exemption. So he could have applied for one of those, and they would have said, yes, no problem, you can use it. So there is like a list published somewhere for them to refer to. But in his head, he's just thinking, well, it's a nasal spray, I'll just use it. But then he's been tested afterwards and it's showed up with this substance. And, there's been, not to go off too much on a tangent, but I was watching, because it's been the Olympics, I watched a Linford Christie documentary recently, and he got done for something similar where he was using something over the counter and then it showed up in a sample a substance that was banned, but was in like a general everyday medicine. So it can happen with these things, but yeah, I guess it's just one of those things, I suppose. I mean, I don't
Sounds
really
to
know
me
what else to
like
say on
the
it.
Matrix have penetrated the US pharmaceutical market quite well, because if it ain't allowed over here, it can't be that fucking good for you, in my opinion.
Have either of you two ever done a drugs test?
I don't know if I have actually.
Yeah, I had to do one
No,
for I had to do one for a job, a previous couple of jobs ago. I had to go down to Bristol and like do a wee, and like I'd been to the gym, took on loads of water in Cheltenham where I resided, and I would nearly piss myself. Like she gave me the beaker and it just went everywhere. Like I could fill probably about 15 cups full, and she was outside like, "Are you okay?" Because I was just in there so long weeing. Um,
And it came back
Right.
negative, did
yeah,
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 did you?
all clean, brother.
it?
Right.
Pass with flying colours, mate. A star. Get
Yeah.
in the office. Do you want to know a little fact about Graham McDowell? I did my research. You know, everyone loves my facts.
Yeah.
He had a cameo role in the US TV show The Entourage, but it was cut from the final edit, so he never appeared. But he filmed it.
So he didn't have a cameo role then.
Well, he turned up on set, mate, and had the camera in his face. Yeah, I don't know why he was cut. There we are.
Yeah, right. Oh well, that's another good stat from ODub there. I've learned something, so
Yeah.
that's good. Well done.
Any more thoughts on Graham?
Not really. I think it's all a
No,
bit strange, to be honest.
yeah.
I sort of think, you know, a nasal spray. There's no possible way that could have enhanced his performance. Give him a bit of a slap on the wrist and just let him play. So, you know.
I'm sure that'll be the case. It's like devil's advocate. They've got to have a line somewhere, haven't they? And it's just
Yeah.
it
What
is a
could they
bit.
possibly put in nasal spray that's going to do anything for you? If you could literally walk into a shop, buy it, and walk out, you know, you can't walk into a shop and buy an anabolic steroid and walk out.
Well, linked to my earlier point, my special nasal spray has got steroids in it, and it was prescribed like
Well,
from a
exactly.
pharmacist.
Anything that would be of any
It's got like,
relevance.
but like, I'm not going to get like a really hench nose. I don't think anyway. So guys, we talked about the men's Olympic champion. The women's competition happened, and Lydia Ko, a fan favourite of all of us, took home the gold. What do we think, AB?
Mate, you can't come to me first again. To be honest, I didn't really watch it. But yeah, fair play to her. She's won one of the gold medals for New Zealand. I think New Zealand ended up with about 10 golds. So she's contributed well there. And I think I read when she's in winning, she's actually managed to get herself into the Hall of Fame as well. So she's in the Hall of Fame. She's quite a renowned player on the ladies circuit anyway. So it's just another feather in her cap, much like Scotty the week before. So yeah, good result for women's golf. I don't think the British girls didn't really quite do it this week. I know that Charlie Hall was never really in contention. Georgia Hall, similarly, was over par for a lot of it. So yeah, I think the women's one was a little bit more wide open. I know Nelly Corder was there, but again, she was kind of off her game a little bit. But yeah, fair play to Lydia Ko. She's done well.
Did you know she's married to Chung Jun, who's heir to the Hyundai Card Company, which is a multi-billion-dollar company? So she's going to be well off when her family inherit that. And you probably know this, AB, but she was world number one at 17 years old, which is the youngest ever in men's and women's.
Yeah. And how old is she now? Do you know?
Oh, is she not 1999? So whatever that is.
Hold on. I'll tell you. I'm on the internet now. She's 27.
I'm pretty sure. So was that 1999?
97.
Yeah. So she's been around for a little while, but is still young. So yeah, she's done really well. And I don't know the women's side as well as I do the men. So I don't know who previously won the golds, but
well, it was just on this year's one. I also didn't see any of it, as some of you will know. I was away. with my new lady. But
Don't disappoint the female fans out there, DB.
yeah, off the market now, chaps. But the German, as a German golfer, got a silver medal, and a Chinese golfer got the bronze medal. But I don't recognise any of the names particularly. Rose Zhang came down in 8th. Nelly Corder was down in 20th. Charlie Hull was down in the 20s.
Yeah, it wasn't. It didn't quite have the same drama as the men's one, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, Charlie
Leaderboard
Hull was
wasn't-
like 9 over par on the first day or something.
Yeah.
And she rallied quite well to come back. She actually ended up finishing only 1 over, which meant that in the 3 days after that, she picked up 8 shots, which isn't bad. The winners finished on 10 under. Was it the same course?
Yeah. It was exactly
Did they
the same.
play off the same tees and that? Or they shortened them up
Yeah.
or what?
No, it was exactly the same.
So they played off the same yardage as the men?
Yeah, it was exactly the same.
Yeah, so...
That's what exactly the same means, DB.
Yeah, but I was...
I'm with you, AB. I'm listening,
on
AB. Don't worry.
I was going to come on to another point that for anyone who thinks that women golfers aren't as good as men golfers or anything like that, the winner here is finished on -10 playing 4 days over the exact same yardage as what the men's Olympic event was, and that would have secured them a top 10 finish, I think.
Yeah.
One of my thoughts as you're speaking. Is there any appetite or talk for women to enter men's competitions, or is that it?
There is one competition where they do it now, isn't there?
Okay.
Yeah, there's a mixed event in Scandinavia on part of the DP World Tour.
Yeah.
Which is Henrik Stenson and Annika Sorenstam. So they are they're not the organisers, but the event's in Sweden and they're both Swedish, so they'll be like the flagship players.
I do think though that it could happen eventually. Like they could do like a couple of tournaments or like have a mixed pairs thing, or even like Ryder Cup vibes where there's men and women. Obviously they've got their own. They got the Solheim Cup, but
yeah,
they could have like something like that, like every 4 years or something like that.
Like you were saying with the finishing on -10, or 10 under. They could be, if they're going to be performing at that level, there could be some serious prize money on offer, couldn't there? Which is going to be.
I mean, the money in the women's
tour.
game isn't bad anyway. For the majors, they win in the millions if you win a major.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's more just so I think it was Charlie Hull a while back was someone heckled her on Twitter or something or other and basically said, I'm a 3 handicapper at like a normal golf club and I could clean you up. And it sort of went into this debate whether women's golf was of the level of men's golf. And to be honest with you, I think the answer is they're not far off at all. I watch quite a lot of it now. They're very, very good. I'm pretty sure statistically they hit the fairway more often than the men. You hear a lot of golf coaches actually say that women are often technically sounder, have better techniques, and they will hit the ball straighter, whereas the men tend to try and bully a course a little bit, and just because they can hit it that extra bit further, it doesn't matter if they miss the fairways and they give themselves like 50 yards in or whatever it might be. But Charlie Hull's an exceptional golfer. She's very, very good, and I don't think there's professional male golfers that would definitely not beat her. So some fucking idiot off 3 at his local golf course definitely wouldn't beat her.
Well, it's like that TikTok clip. I think you might have talked about it on this before. I was signed on of the professional women's golfer at a driving range, and some bloke comes over and tries to mansplain her technique to her, and she's like, "Yeah," and it went viral. But
yeah,
toxic masculinity, which we're not.
Years, love.
Toxic masculinity, which we're not a fan of. Excellent. Yes, the Olympics is over now. We all enjoyed it. USA came out on top in the end in the medals tallies. If you didn't already know, DB, so kudos to them, and their golf gold helped that. So Aaron Ray, is that how we're going with that? Rye. Aaron Rye, like rye bread, my favourite type of crispy bread. Got his first win. DB, won't come to you first, DB, because you got upset last time.
It's a really good effort from him, to be honest. He's been on the PGA Tour 2-3 years maybe now, but But yeah, I think he's from Bedfordshire. Over
Born
in
in
the UK.
born in Wolverhampton.
Yeah, Wolverhampton.
Yeah. And yeah, just really impressive, to be honest. Young lad coming up in the game, sponsored by Me and My Golf, and they are his coaches, which, for those who don't know, are golf YouTubers that are also professional golfers. But they coach Aaron Ryan, sponsor him, and he often wears two gloves, O-dubs, and they're often two black gloves, which for a lot of people would call that pretty village, but he's just one on the PGA Tour, so fair play to him.
Well, it
Yeah,
was
I
actually one
reckon-
of my facts I had about him, which I'll come on to when AB's finished this point. But yeah, I did know that. I think you've mentioned that before, actually. I think we've mentioned it on the pod, but yeah, carry on, AB.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that would suit you. That would be a good look for you to wear two gloves when you rock
Me
up.
or him?
No, Dub.
Yeah.
As a new golfer, I think that would be like a unique look for you to double glove it.
Yeah, do you think I'd mark my authority? I mean, I'm going to look pretty special in here, rocking up in my War Pigs rugby top, shorts, and two gloves.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll take your advice on board, AB.
Go on then. Let's hear these facts. So it was his first win on the PGA Tour. He's
It was.
British.
He's British.
So,
yeah, Wolverhampton.
good
I think
night to
he
him.
might be 27. This I might be getting confused. He's got a full bag of tailor-made clubs, AB. However, his wedges are from Titleist.
Yeah.
Not that interesting. You have to help me with what this is, but when he was 15, he got given a Lee Westwood putting aid, and he held 207 putts from 10 feet, which is a world record.
Oh,
Does any
mate,
of
that is
does any of that
literally
make
the first
sense?
I've heard of
Lee
it.
Westwood's a professional golfer.
Yeah, I know he is. But what's a Lee Westwood putting aid, and how's he
Well,
getting 207 consecutive putts?
About to Google it.
Right,
Putting.
you carry on with that. Did you know, AB, that he fell into golf by accident? Having hurt himself with a hockey stick as a toddler, his mother went out to buy some plastic sticks to make things safer, which happened to be plastic golf clubs, and he fell in love with the game ever since.
Amazing, mate.
Yeah,
That is
it's a beautiful story.
Another, yeah. So yeah, you're really educating myself and the listeners tonight, mate. So that's very good. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
But what
there
I know the reason for why he wears two gloves is because his dad bought him a pair of clubs that he couldn't really afford, and he wanted to just look after them. So he didn't want the grips to like wear down as much and or get ruined. He was just like, I just want to look after them because I think he uses iron covers as well, which
Yes.
nobody on the tour does.
I was literally just about to say that because I said
Yeah,
he does
so-
something
so
else
he-
in homage of his. So what's an iron? Is that just like a little head that they have on the drivers, but also for his irons?
Yeah. So no one really has iron covers on tour, or even at amateur level, but you can get them. So
Why would you have a driver cover then? What's the main purpose of that?
To protect the driver.
Yeah, but why are you not protecting your irons?
I mean, I can't
It's a
really
great
answer that.
question, mate, but you don't really. They don't need
They
the
don't-
same level of protection.
Well,
like-
I'm with Aaron here. I'm going to wear two gloves and I'm going to protect my irons. I mean,
Yeah.
mine are absolute shit, so I don't need to protect them. But if I actually got a good pair, maybe I'll get little covers for them all.
I know it's a valid point. It's a valid point, but I don't think your irons are more durable, so they don't need as much protection. Whereas your driver, because of the height of the driver as well, like your clubs are always banging into each other, so your
Now-
irons will just be like whacking into your driver, and then it will like crack the face.
Now,
or-
AB, that actually makes very good sense. So that
Yeah,
was proper
that's what
light
it's
bulb
for.
moment. Well,
Yeah.
that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, you, the face of your driver is more susceptible to damage and cracking than your irons are. Your iron is solid metal, whereas your driver's hollow. So if you get any sort of damage on it, it's not going to work. So that's why there's head covers for your drivers and your woods and things like that.
So that's why listener Ricky's had like 2 in a year because he's bashing them around.
Yes.
Yeah. Kudos to you, Rick.
I
Shout out.
found the Lee Westwood Putt Master.
That might be it. Yes. What's that? What is it then?
I would say, well, first of all, shout out to golfonline.co.uk because you look like the only people still stocking it. So if you're looking to shift a few, want to sponsor a well-known podcast, let us know. But to be honest, it looks like a very basic putting aid, and it's basically just an alignment sort of square. It's about this big, which is it'd be no bigger than a foot, and it's got a couple of lines on it, and it looks like it's basically just a tempo and alignment kind of thing. A few dots.
Obviously works if he's got 207 in a row. But I guess that's not regulation equipment. I couldn't rock up at the Torrey Pines of the Cotswolds and start using that, could I?
No,
exactly.
you couldn't.
But however, I will
actually, sorry, golfonline.co.uk. This product has been sold out or maybe discontinued. So if you're in the market for someone to update your website, let me know.
I bet we could pick one up on Facebook Marketplace. You get some great stuff on there.
Probably.
Yeah, I'll have a look. Am I right to come to you next, AB, or are you going to have a strop? But Kuchar walking off, what are we thinking?
Yeah, it's all right, mate. Yeah, Kuchar. So same event that Aaron Wright won, the Wyndham Championship. So I've read into this. So last night it was a bit unclear what he was doing, but he's it's all happened now, and he's come out with his statement and his explanation, and it kind of is all a bit of a misunderstanding. But basically, the context of the story is it was the conclusion of the tournament on the PGA Tour yesterday was well into the sort of night time. So I think it was well after 8 o'clock. And basically, Kuchar's hit a tee shot, and I think he's hit it out of bounds, or he needs to get relief or something. But basically, he decided that it was too dark to continue playing. And in his head, he was thinking, apparently there'd been warnings sent out that it was getting a bit too dark and there's potentially going to be a suspension. So he's just decided, I don't want to play from here in the dark. I'll come back tomorrow. And because he wasn't in the final groups, I don't think, or basically he was worried about it being too dark, basically, to conclude his round. So he thought everyone else is going to just walk off as well. And basically, he was the only one that ended up doing it. So he's had to come back today. The tournament's over. Aaron Wise won. He's been given the trophy. No one else is coming back other than Kuchar. And he basically had to play 2 shots. So he took his drop. He hit one onto the green and then he putt. But he had to wait until today because he walked off last night. So, yeah, bit of daft, but the context of it, because we were wondering, we did a bit of research. We were wondering whether he needed a specific score on the 18th to get into the FedEx Cup playoffs. Incidentally, it wouldn't have mattered even if he got a hole in one on the 18th. He still wouldn't have qualified, so it wasn't for that reason. But he's actually the only person to have been in it every year since it was invented. So this is the first FedEx Cup end of season playoff that won't have Matt Kuchar in it. But the difference between if he'd have bogeyed it last night in the dark in comparison to today when he came back and played it for par was about $80,000 difference in prize money because he would have placed lower. So in his head, he was thinking, okay, well, the leaders are simply going to walk off as well. And there's probably going to be others. So I won't be the only one coming back. So he just picked his ball up and walked off. But then nobody else did that. And the tournament concluded. So a suspension in play is not that uncommon. It can happen. And especially on the final day, it can happen. But for only one golfer to come back the following day to conclude a round, especially when he's not even in contention, that to me is completely unheard of. I've not seen that ever before.
He's issued a full apology and a full statement because obviously he was the only golfer that had to come back, but some of the event organisers and officials had to come and ensure things were carried out correctly. He then had to sign his scorecard and that all had to be recorded properly. So there was other people that did have to come back, and he's issued an apology on behalf to all of those people because they might have had flights booked or whatever, or an extra day's work basically didn't really account for. Which, as you say, can happen if there's rain or something. That's not really anyone's fault, but essentially, this is all his fault, really. I think utterly ludicrous, even if 80k is on the line, because at his level of what I'm assuming is wealth, unless he's gambled it all away or something, the bloke's been on the PGA Tour for fucking years. He's a multi-millionaire, gonna be, and at that point, just hit the ball on the green and putt out and go home. Like, why would you want to come back for 2 shots? Pointless.
Yeah, I agree.
There's does this not set a slightly dangerous precedent with when we were talking about the Open, how the conditions are awful? What's the difference between someone just saying, "Oh, it's too dark, I'm going to come back tomorrow"?
So I think with regards to the Open, if the conditions got too bad, and in general golf, if the conditions get bad, they sound the horn.
Yeah.
But with light at the end of the play, because I was looking at this, because he said something like it's basically a horn without a horn. So I think if it gets too dark, it's up to the player's judgment, and it's the same consequences. But if it's ordinary golf, they have to wait for the referee to sound the horn, basically.
And obviously, this happens in cricket. What is there like a device which measures light, or is it like is that umpire's discretion?
I'm not 100% sure. There are officials of the tournament and stuff that would potentially do that kind of thing. So when there's like thunder and lightning and stuff, or if the rain gets too heavy, or the course becomes in danger of not being played on well, like the groundsman can have a meeting with the referees and stuff like that. But yeah, regards to light, not 100% certain if they've got a light meter or anything like that.
Because even if there was one, like a golf course is obviously a lot bigger than a cricket pitch, so even that would prove difficulties. So there might be a lot brighter on the first hole compared to the latter holes. That was just my follow-on point if there was one, but
yeah, I'm not sure how it works. Is the answer?
What do you reckon, AB?
Well, I think there's course marshals and there's an overall like official that, like DB says, you know, they'll watch the weather, they'll decide when it's not possible to play with darkness. And in Kuchar's statements today, he said that there was warnings given out, and like the previous 2 days finished at like 8:15 and 8:20, and last night he was still playing at like 8:40.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think that, you know, it's all a bit of a misunderstanding, but I guess the reason why we're talking about it was because it's, you know, it's unprecedented that only one person would take up the option.
Yeah.
And it's caused all this palaver today. So that's why it was a kind of an interesting story. But yeah, I mean, I agree with DB. He could have just, it was a complete, his score was relatively irrelevant other than the sort of 80k difference in prize winnings, which he didn't really need. But yeah, he could. I mean, I think on reflection, he would have just played on. But in his head, he was assuming that everybody else was going to walk off, and then they didn't. And Aaron Rai. And in fairness, the circumstances in which Aaron Rai has won, because the other lad who finished second had a quadruple bogey, and then he had a 3-putt on a par 3, on which he was on the green, and he 3-putted from like 3 foot. Okay. So, yeah, there was, I guess, a little bit of validity in Kuchar's decision, but he's been made to look quite stupid because he was the only person that took it up.
Do you know when he didn't look stupid, AB? On his 8th birthday, when he went to Fenway Park, the home of the Boston Red Sox, and he caught not 1 but 2 balls, and he's been a fan ever since.
Amazing story. The nuggets that you churned out tonight.
You are an oracle of knowledge, mate.
Thanks, mate. Just been doing my homework.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah, so as we talked about last week when I had my first round of golf ever on the Torrey Pines of the Cotswolds, and my good pal Wommass, listener of the pod and contributor, said the reason people play golf is for that one hit which just feels great. What do you prefer, DB? Hitting a ball? Let's say you went out on a round and just hit loads of nice balls, but you scored crap. Like what how are you coming home from that? What's your views?
I have to say, ODub, generally, that is how I do play golf. I strike it very well, and I do hit a ball quite well, but I'm not very good at putting, and I don't necessarily score that well all the time. So I would say, in general, if I did play like that, I enjoy golf. However, I do think I would rather get a lower score. I'm a competitive guy. I like to try and win things and be up there and be seen as someone who's good at something. So I personally would like to get a better score. However, on the other flip side of it is there is no better feeling than smoking a golf ball clean. And one person said this to me one time, and it stuck with me forever. Even if you've had a really, really shit round, if you play the 18th well, you'll still want to go straight back out and do it all over again, which I kind of agree with, because you just finish on that high and you're just like, oh, I've just figured it out. I want to play more now. And I do also think if you hit that one hero shot during a round, you might, I still talk about shots that I've hit like 3 or 4 years ago, and I can remember the specific shot, but I might not remember the time I break 80 at random golf course like 4 years ago, you know? So there are some special moments that can happen on a golf course that will be talked about forever. Scores aren't necessarily one of them unless you do something of a madness, but that one hero shot or just hitting the ball really clean might just give you that extra buzz. But I think overall, I'm coming down on the side of scoring well.
How about you, AB?
Well, I think from my own perspective, I had a bit of an epiphany on the weekend. So I played on Saturday for the first time for a couple of weeks because I was on holiday, but I didn't start my round particularly well in terms of scores. So I was looking at my scorecard and I was like, it shows that the first 5 holes I've doubled all 5, which, you know, I'm only a 20 handicapper, so that's not like outrageously bad. It's expected, but in your head sometimes you think I should be doing better on specific holes or whatever. Like you're constantly going around the golf course looking at scorecards and worrying, oh, I've hit a double bogey, but actually on handicap it's probably only a bogey. So or even a par. Like on the third hole, for example, I hit a 7, but for me on my handicap that's actually a par. But you just get, I guess, my experience and my own personal perspective over the 4 years I've played golf is I get too bogged down into the numbers going into my scorecard. And then basically on Saturday, I had an epiphany for the first time, maybe ever, certainly been a while, where I actually, even though, as I said, across the whole 18 holes, I probably played 8 holes not so well and 10 holes really well. But on all 18 holes, I struck the ball so nicely. And like, as the listeners to the pod know, I bought a new set of golf clubs, which I got in June. So we're only at the beginning of August. I've not really used them that much. So I'm still figuring out all of the new clubs in my bag. But I ended up carding a 99. And when I sat down to have my pint and my pasty, previous weeks I would have been a little bit annoyed with that. But as DB said, I wanted to just have a pint and go straight back onto the first tee and go again because of how I was hitting the ball. Like I was, and that's part of the problem I've got now. And the next sort of hurdle I've got to figure out is with this new set of clubs, I've got to work out my distances better. So my yardages have just gone through the roof with this new set of clubs compared to my old set. And if you couple that with finding some form in terms of your swing and how you're connecting with the ball, I was hitting the ball miles on Saturday, and it just gave me such a buzz that even sometimes where some of them went long, but they looked like they were going to be bang on, I was like, I've absolutely nailed that. And then in the past, I'd think, well, actually, I've overhit that and I should have been on the green. No, on Saturday, I was hitting really good shots and they've just, carried. And that's just, and I wasn't angry with it at all. I was just like absolutely buzzing with how I'd connected with the ball and how far it went. And I really like at the end of the round didn't really care that I hit a 99, and I would in my head I would have preferred to have done better. So yeah, I mean, it's a difficult question. It's an interesting topic. I mean, some days I really want to score well, but actually on Saturday was the first time where I'd come in from a round of golf thinking, I don't really care what I've shot today. I've hit the ball fucking mint for the entire time, and that's all I really care about.
I guess it depends on the scenario as well, because like I know DB plays probably a little bit more competition golf. You want to just get scores, right?
Yeah,
As
I don't.
opposed
I'm
to-
not too bothered that goes in the aisle as long as it gets in.
Yeah, exactly,
I
yeah.
come off the wrong fairway. I ain't too bothered. I've done, and some of my favourite holes of golf I've ever played are ones where I've done that. And one that sticks in my head was it's the 11th hole at North Middlesex, which comes back from the car park going away. I shanked it off the tee onto the bottom of the 10th fairway. I then went to hit it back onto the 11th fairway, and it hit a tree and come straight down. So that's my second shot. The third shot was short of the green, and then I chipped it in for a par. So I didn't really play one good golf shot the whole fucking time, and still got a par. And I love that.
Yeah, and I suppose like on the flip side, if you're just having a quick game with your mates, you want to be hitting those nice shots to the other shots that you're going to be talking about and the clean
I've
hits.
also on that hole before, I've put it on the green in 2, not far. I've actually on that very hole been, I think it was about 3 foot or 4 foot away after 2 shots, and 3 putted and got 5.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I've been here, there, and everywhere and got 4. So that's just golf. You never know what you can get with it.
So slightly off topic, but I was just thinking about when AB was talking. On like competition golf professionals, they move the tee each morning.
Yeah.
How often does a groundskeeper at a normal club move the tees?
Tees and holes move. I would say ours go every couple of days.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that often?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's to preserve the ground.
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess, because everyone will be walking the same spot. Okay.
You don't want to be tearing off
the-
in the same spot all the time.
Yeah, the
It'll only
tee
go
box
forward
will
and
move.
back,
Yeah.
like a couple of yards or whatever, but the hole will move around the green, various different
Yeah.
points.
Yeah, regularly. Okay, cool. Excellent, guys. Well, thanks for that. Do either of you two fancy a quiz?
Oh, do we get to hear your
Yeah,
theme
mate.
tune?
I can't remember what it was. Quiz. Right, so I'm new to golf, as you know, and I'm fascinated with not just golf, but like the lingo that different sports have. So I've come up with, it's just six questions, 6 phrases from the world of golf. They're probably a little bit American. We're starting off with an easy one, and I want you guys to tell me what each of those means. So I'll go through all 6, shall I? And then we can answer if you're happy with that format.
Yeah.
Wait, who's answering first? So you're going to read out.
I'm going to go through all 6, and then we'll go back and answer if you're happy with that.
Fine. Do it.
Go for it.
I'll probably ask you first if you want, DB. Age
Yeah.
before beauty. Right. So this is probably one which I may well have figured out. What is a sandbagger?
Well,
You
I
need to
would
write it down.
say.
You need to write it down. We're going to go through all 6.
Oh.
Or do you want to go individually?
Well, go on. Let's break each one. So,
read them all out, because starting there, I mean, I've never heard of that one. So
okay, so he doesn't know that. I think I've got an idea.
Okay, you go on then, DB.
So a sandbagger, a sandbagging is a term that we use in sales. And that would be like if you're holding back deals to like make your next month look good, or if you want to slot them in the next month. So to me, a sandbagger in golf would be someone who like deliberately shoots some shit scores to get their handicap up, or someone that like preserves their handicap because they're sandbagging so they can get a good score basically in a competition.
That is exactly it, DB.
Thank you.
Excellent deduction. I thought you would
very
talk about it. Might have been, actually, to be fair, I think you mentioned it when me and you were podding, DB. Perhaps, or
people
you used
did
the
do that
term
at a golf club, which we will not mention the name. ODub.
No, we will not. All right, we'll change the format a little bit. AB, you
Right.
can have a go at
That's
this one.
very good. I mean, look, I've never heard that term in sales or in golf, so that I've learned something there. So good start to the quiz, Dub, and great answer, DB.
AB, can you tell me what a flusher is?
A flusher is well, it's good contact with the ball, isn't it? It's someone that's hitting the ball like completely flush, so they just contact with the ball.
Nah, incorrect. DB, you want to have a go?
Maybe is a flusher someone that's a bit shit?
No, guys, you're both wrong. It's a putt that circles the entire cup, then goes in. That's a flusher.
I thought I
Fucking
gave
hell.
quite a clever answer for a bit of slang there.
Now, I've got the next one. You can go first now, DB.
Yeah.
It's got 3 different names: a worm burner, a snake raker, or a bug hugger.
Was that if you like thin it and it like skims the grass?
Yeah, correct. Great, DB.
So
Two-
okay,
two nil up.
just for the record, that I would have said similar, just for the record. But yeah, fair play.
We'll give you half a point, AB.
No, it's all
Right,
good,
AB, what is a chicken stick?
mate. I've not heard of any of these, so let me try and think of some sort of logic. A chicken stick. I've got absolutely no idea.
DB, you want to go? Keep
I
it
feel
moving.
like it must be some sort of a chicken stick or a drumstick or something. It must be some sort of slang for how many shots they had in a hole, I think.
No, incorrect. It's the one club in your bag you go to that you can always rely on. So it's your favourite club, your chicken stick.
Oh,
Fair
right,
play.
fine.
I don't think either of you will get this. What is a platypus? I will say,
I think I've got an idea of this. This is,
Okay.
I think I've seen this. I think this is someone or something where it's something to do with the ball usually going in the water, but for some reason it's ended up on the land or something like that.
You're in the right ballpark, DB.
It's something like that. I've heard something like this before.
You are in the right ballpark.
So, what is in someone's hit the ball and it's sailing for the water, but it hits a rock and comes back out or something
You're
like that.
veering a little bit away there, AB. Shall I tell you guys?
Yeah, go on.
It's hitting a ball out of bounds, but still making par.
Oh.
It's a sort of link to what you were talking about earlier about getting on the 10th fairway, like
Yeah.
still making par, but hitting out of bounds. You're sort of, it could go in the water and then you're making par, but that is a platypus. And one final one, a bit of a silly one, AB. What is swing oil?
Swing oil.
Swing oil.
Is it slang for beers?
Yes, it is slang for beers. Great.
Ah,
Yeah, I knew you'd get that one.
there's quite a few slang. There's quite a few slang for beers. I would call it birdie juice.
Oh, I like that. That's a bit sexy though, that isn't it?
Birdie juice.
Swing oil's a bit more men's men. Birdie juice is a bit sexy for my liking, or maybe for my liking.
I wouldn't often drink on the golf course, me, just a finely tuned athlete. So we actually went to a society day once where they tried to make us down a beer on the golf course, and he was shit as well, I have to say.
No,
but
what, as in like a pint off?
No, it was like a big bottle. Was it a
pint bottle? Yeah, it's a pint bottle. Yeah.
It was hard work. I ended up spitting the last little bit out, to be honest.
Yeah,
it was also I think it was like -5 as well.
Yeah, it was pretty cold.
So it was like drinking ice, basically.
What was it? Was it a lager then? Was it?
Yeah, it was a pint.
It's no good, man. You can. Most people can manage a Guinness and decent speed because it's smooth and usually pretty warm.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a fizzy lager or cider, you're having no luck, mate, unless you're a freak of nature.
The three of us collectively would struggle to chin a beer, but me
I've
and
got
O-Dub
what I would call a drinking problem, O-Dub, and that problem is I can't really drink. So you could put a pint.
I did not know all the facts I've said today. There's one I did not know, DB, that you cannot handle your drink.
Oh, you could put a pint of squash in front of me, and I don't think I could down it.
Interesting.
Yeah,
we'll have to try it at the next No If Buts or Bogies social podcast event, where the fans can come and meet their heroes.
Maybe we'll do a live event.
Live pod.
Do you know what?
I'll throw this one out there. Manifest the dream. I want to sell out the Hall for Cornwall. Live pod at the Hall for Cornwall.
Wow.
Golfers of Cornwall, we need you.
I completely forgot that place existed until you said it there. But the other thing reminds me of the Hall for Cornwall is, the little ice creams you get in tubs. That's what I think of when I think of the Hall for Cornwall.
Calestic Farm. Shout out Calestic Farm. If you want
Yeah.
to sponsor the pod, let us know.
That's actually a realistic sponsor we could achieve. Seems we both know them. We know the family very well.
Yeah.
They're
we go.
they're doing a lot of
Cracking
media at the
little
moment,
quiz,
aren't they?
O-Dub. I
Yeah, no
enjoyed
worries,
that.
bros.
There's some good ones there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a
figure
good quiz.
out something- I'll figure out something next week. As I say, I'm on annual leave today, so I've had a bit more time to prep stuff. So yeah,
Well,
let us know,
done, mate.
listeners, if you
Appreciate it.
enjoyed it. Get in touch, and any ideas, any topics you want to talk about, let us know.
Still haven't heard from whoever you are in Vietnam, so do let us know you're about.
Any new countries this week, DB? Or still the
Literally
16?
I'm just logging in now. Let's have a little look.
I do feel we've got something for all corners of the globe.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I can give one little stat. We are very close to 1,000 downloads.
Excellent.
Which is good. Yeah. So that's good. Yeah. Appreciate every single download and every single listener.
Yep.
Right. Still on 16 countries. New Zealand's gone up a few listens. Shout out if you're listening in New Zealand. Germany's on 22 listens. So I don't know who's listened in Germany this week, but we appreciate you. That would be someone who's pretty much listened to the whole back catalogue, I would have thought.
Maybe it was Matt Kutcher. He's German, isn't he?
Yeah.
Who am I thinking of?
Oh,
who's the guy who did the putt in the Ryder Cup? Martin Keimer, that's it.
Keimer.
Yeah, there we are. See, I know, I've got the right ballpark, innit, AB? You know where I am.
Right, there we are. Well done, boys. Another cracking pod. Stay tuned for more next week, guys. We appreciate you all. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you all soon. O-Dub.
Cheers, guys. Thank you for having me. Great to be with you as always. 5 stars on iTunes, guys, and review would be great. It always helps keep the lights on. And get in touch, guys.
Love it.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. I'm going to be researching Martin Keimer from the next pod. Some big facts coming your way, guys.
He was world number 1, O-Dub.
Good quiz, mate. I learned.
AB cut off.
No, he's still here, mate.